No fireworks in this match just yet. Ronnie's highest break, 49. Mark Williams, 33.
20. 21. 26. 27. 41.
Yeah, you can swing this over behind the yellow.
$44.
Doesn't matter about the yellow.
Sullivan, 44.
44 break was more than enough. He had a substantial...
Well, there is a red, and the black's in the clear, so... But Ronnie refuses it. Doesn't think he can get position on the black. Now with these, you've got to miss the baulk colours. And he did do. Invariably, if you miss the baulk colours, it's going to be a reasonable safety. But just a little bit pacey. Mark can just get past the yellow. They're always a big frame, the fourth frame, because there's going to be an interval after this one. Big difference between being two behind, or he'll be open all square. No, he didn't. I think Ronnie can see a red in the main bunch that he can use as a path back to the baulk end.
Foul. Ronnie O, Sullivan.
Much too full, but rather going off than rattling the jaws that stay at this end of the table. Missed it completely. What a difference it makes. There's a red that's available obviously into the left corner, but made much more difficult now due to the cue ball being tight to the baulk cushion. All safety shots in this tactical battle. Green.
You know, John, I'm trying to think back, and I don't know whether it was way back in 2000 or 2001. These two played in the UK Championship, and I'm sure it was at Telford, and I watched one of the finest safety duels I'd ever seen between these two.
Yes, you don't win the tournaments that these two players have won with only just having a potting game. Obviously, all the top players are great potters, but you need a safety game. But this time, Ronnie can run up the table to the baulk end without any worry about leaving a pot on.
Mark's 1-8, Ronnie's 127. But what about this? This doesn't happen. In the Premier League, they played 4 times and used to play 8 frames and it was 4 frames each.
That's right, yeah. And 4 draws. Yeah, I presume they were score draws, were they, Dennis?
There was plenty of scoring, that's for sure.
Well, Ronnie couldn't get the cue ball back to the baulk end, but if this red passes the pink to the left middle, I think Mark will take it on. He can run to the baulk, or near the baulk cushion, beyond the brown. Oh, he's played it positively.
He's played
1.
another Mark Williams floater there.
Six.
Just there.
7.
We're halfway through the 4th frame, just past the hour mark. Had a long frame for these two in the 2nd frame. It took over 26.5 minutes. Last frame just took over 11 minutes. He's got the pink in the open, but the black's tied up. I think there's a few loose reds he can play on. It's interesting how different players have their own different ways of going about making a break. Decided to go up for the blue and got the angle. Now there's 2 reds. There's one just above the black and the one just to the left of that are available, so he can play for one of those 2 in the left corner.
He had been dead straight on this. He could have just dropped it in and left himself on the black, but he's still okay. He's got the pink there.
19.
Wouldn't entertain taking the black until he removed the red to the left of the spot. And he might just be on that now. And if he is dead straight on this, he can pop that, free the black spot and
25.
drop nicely onto the black. And he is dead straight. Well worked out. He would have been thinking about that
26.
3 or 4 shots ago. There's a fly just landed on the cushion there. Just
34.
I mean, there didn't look to be anything on when he came to the table. He's worked these really well. And that's nice. There's one to the middle. Excellent chance now.
41. 42. 49.
With the reds in the open,
50.
in the middle, these 4 reds are close to the top cushion. They won't be required to clinch the frame at this visit. And it looks now as though we're going to have parity come the mid-session interval.
57. 58.
So,
65.
a red and a black, red and a pink. We're getting to the snooker's required
66.
stage. This pink will put him 68 points in front with just 67.
73.
Oh, he hasn't hit that hard enough. He's won the frame, but he wanted to be on the blue to cannon the reds out. But just make sure of the 5 points, which he has done.
$78.
Not bothered, Ronnie O conceded. He thought he played a containing safety, but a lovely floated red to the left middle.
26 minutes, quite a tactical frame, and still the average frame time's only 16 minutes, but I did have a why they're finding it difficult to screw back. Break being 49 and Mark 78. But as you can see, all the marks have gone off the cloth. It was brushed and ironed, so that'll help things. It's strange, John, because Mark was saying in the practice room the tables are absolutely perfect.
A shame, but one of the things you've got to do is the holder done that. Has he got any kind of angle? If he'd have had an get there, is he?
I don't think he's not on one here. Didn't quite work out.
33.
If anything, he got a little too much action on that. And that's a risky plant he's looking at. Quickly forgets about it.
Yes, the red he's closest to will go to the left middle, but it's risky. So he thinks thin off this behind the yellow.
Ronnie O Sullivan, 33.
And that shows me he's certainly got his game face on. Just got to watch the double kiss here. Well, he sent this red towards the corner, which in normal circumstances would be dangerous, but he got a little flick on the yellow, and that's covered the path to that red, so marking a spot of bother here.
Letting Olivia Martel just see where the white is, just in case he was to miss all the reds, so that he could replace it in exactly the same spot. That quite quickly. From here it looks as if he could pot the red to the left of the pink, but he can't, and Mark had worked that out. So how often do you see a player leave the ball up this end of the table for the safety shot? And Ronnie's probably walking around thinking, how did he think of that one?
Yeah, and the thing is that Ronnie can... Well, if he tries to get back to the balk end, he'll risk leaving the red over the left corner. If he plays the safety shot and leaves the cue ball at this end, he leaves an easy safety for Mark. A minute thinking time. It's a long time for Ronnie. So trying to get the cover with the... Well, as it turns out, he's knocked another red on. I don't think the blue covers the one that's closest to the top cushion. Well, a little tap on the leg from Mark, which tells me he can't get through, and as you can see, he clearly can't.
It was worth thinking of over a minute on that last shot, because Ronnie has picked out a little beauty there. It was... Mark would have just played off the one near the pocket and put him in behind the yellow. Their knowledge of the game is quite incredible, both these players. Thought long and hard, and then he found the perfect...
Over the edge. There was a red that would have been cuttable.
To risk playing off the red that's to the right of the black, back down the table and hope that he can get in behind one of the colours and block the reds off, but I can't see much else that he can attempt. Does he leave the one that's near the left corner? So back down off that one and hopefully hide everything.
I suppose there's one possibility, but you'd have to have an absolute touch of a surgeon. The red just to the left of the pink. If you roll to that full ball, but you'd have to just reach it dead weight. And that might just leave it safe. But, oh, as I say, you'd have to have such a delicate touch. And from that distance, all of 8 foot, it'd be really difficult.
Very unusual for Mark Williams to be thinking for coming up to nearly 2.5 minutes. But what has he spotted? Is he going to play that shot that you suggested? Or is it a hit and give it a bash?
Thank you. Settle down, please.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, he was in such difficulty in the end, he decided to try and play the hit and hope, and maybe he thought there was a possibility of knocking a red in. This visit.
Seven.
That little cannon, it almost went into the middle pocket, but it's turned out very nice.
And you can't beat a nice ooh from the crowd, can you? And they thought it was going in the middle.
14.
Yeah, just watch this little flick, and then Ronnie thought it was in.
15.
Ronnie knows that he needs just a few more reds, a few
22.
more high-valued colours, and he's got himself back into the lead again. Just about.
And the pink will put him 68 points in front with 67 remaining.
Thank you. 43.
That equals Ronnie's highest break in this match so far.
49.
The break of 49 in the opening frame.
$58. $64.
Doesn't matter about the red staying over the pocket. He had an earlier break of 30.
was a little bit thin, but because it was thin, had a bit more pace in the cue ball, and that's why it's nestled up behind the green. Ronnie will just come off the left-hand side cushion, nestle into the cluster just below the pink. Shouldn't be a problem, just got to be careful you don't slide off them, particularly if you hit it that hard.
Foul and a miss. Mark Williams.
Oh,
6.
okay, he's hit the pink, but he's lucky not to have left a red on there. But the thing is, Dennis, as you're saying, that if the table's playing a little bit damp, it can even affect how they come off the cushions. They don't slide the same. They come off a little bit square.
Yeah, exactly, John, and he'll have to give it a little bit more side here to make sure he doesn't go near the pink.
Yeah, I think he just hit it a little bit too hard. Didn't give time for the side to take off the cushion. A little bit gentler. Now the side will go on, but he's still not got it right.
Foul and a miss. Mark Williams 6.
Well, I can't believe that shot's not on for a player of his ability. I mean, it looks a natural with lots of left-hand side, but to hit the pink twice, very unusual.
No, honestly, I think with it just being slightly damp, it's not taking the same effect. So he's just got to play it with a lot more side than he thinks. And you can see he's really digging down.
Yes, you can see the bemused look on Ronnie's face. That was an easy escape, but somehow it's made to look difficult. Well, Ronnie could just nudge into these reds, but he doesn't want to be playing the tip-tap game, so just running off them, which gives Mark an opportunity to send the cue ball back to the balk end. Well, normally catching a balk colour full like that, it's not the best safety shot because Mark can get his hand on the table. And this looks a better length. And that's more like it from Ronnie. Is there just an edge sticking out? Obviously is. Mark down very quickly to play this, so you can just get past the brown.
Delicate, and if he comes off either side cushion, he's just got to give it a little bit of thought here. Can't just get down and just play it and roll into the reds. Got to make sure he wouldn't leave one.
Yeah, and after the last time he was snookered behind the green when he gave 14 points away, you have to be a little bit careful here. He made a good job of that. Well, it looks like he may have to snooker. Can Ronnie get past the green? Well, he's having to bend it a bit. And if he does, that means that cue ball could career into the other reds. Well, he just caught it thin enough. But it'll bounce. The red could be on to the left middle.
One.
It seemed to come off the cushion quite quickly there, but he was always going to be okay with the ball colours. Mark, you can't afford to miss those.
Mark Williams, 1.
He's lost a little bit of concentration there. He was probably thinking where he was going to put the cue ball, but fortunately for him, the cue ball's finished up near the cushion. It's not a straightforward starter here. Needs to cue this well. Which he did. I would say Ronnie and maybe John Parrott the best at striking off a cushion. John Parrott was excellent.
But what amazes me about this shot, the way Ronnie plays it when he's near the cushion, he's striking down on the balls. And if you just don't hit the middle of the white, then you're going to put a bit of an unintentional side on it. And terrific cueing, as you said.
Seven.
Far from straightforward just yet.
8.
Needs to get on that red that's just to the left of the black spot as soon as possible. Just coming around, that's where he'd like to be. Then he could just roll that in, get the black and then the red to the left of it. That's his plan.
You can only think that he's just got to make a little bit of an angle here on the green. Well, it looks okay. Decided to go across the other side of the table because then he'd have had maybe a choice of the two reds. More margin for error.
11.
He's played it nicely. He's on the red Dennis mentioned.
And playing it the way he did, it took out of the equation possibly snookering himself down the other side of the table. And if he gets a good angle on the black here, I'm just thinking, if he
20.
wanted, he could cannon into the 4 reds. He's guaranteed the other 3. That would really open things up. Doesn't have to do that, but it looks unnatural.
Yeah, I'll be amazed if he doesn't. When it's stuck. Now is he on one of those other reds?
27.
He's not, so a little bit more awkward than he would have liked. He can't even reach with his left hand, but he just hit that red full and just was like it's in a brick wall. And the fact he's having to use the spider makes this red doubly difficult.
Yeah, it was amazing that
Sullivan, 27.
cannon that he played just was a fraction out. When you're striking down and using the spider, you can get a little bit of side that you don't really want to put on it. And they can just throw the ball offline. Oh. Plant. Can't beat a plant.
1.
Well, he thought he got a bit of a bounce off the baulk cushion. He's on this red. He'd like to have played for the black, but he'll have to go up for the blue. He's got to avoid that red near the right-hand side cushion. Oh, and in thinking of that, he's missed
Mark
another
Williams, 5.
easy pot for him.
Well, that's a few sitters he's missed. And
1.
he's dropping away with his pot success rate down to 85%. Mark's one of those, he's so laid back, got a fantastic temperament, but when you miss that sort of shot, it's got to affect you.
Six. Seven.
Just that nicely. Avoided a kiss on the second red, left himself a nice angle on the blue. Well, those 4 reds in the middle of the table, just below the pink, are covering one another. He may play the cannon on them. Well, decided to play for the one along the top cushion. Anything but straight. And that looks perfect.
5.
Just got enough angle.
$13.
And now a little cannon.
Yeah, that's the one he'd love to just, he doesn't have to hit it with any pace, just a delicate little cannon there.
All he would normally get. So it seems that Ronnie's just about got the hang of it. And that's what you have to do. If the table's not playing perfectly, you have to
20.
adjust. You have to hit the ball a little bit harder.
29.
Playing conditions sometimes, for whatever reason, can't always be ideal.
$35. 36.
This will be a bit of a body blow to Mark Williams, without any shadow of a doubt. He just needs one more
42.
red, and he should never have had these. He's still got to knock them in, and he frees another one, but the frame is well and truly safe. But this was the one. He tried to bring the other red into play, and maybe that just took his eye off the pot.
48.
But one mistake against this man, and you're sitting in your seat for the remainder of the frame. You're not there very long, but Mark had a chance there. But he's going to drop 2 behind.
54. Thank you. 55.
That was an example of just not getting the reaction on the cue ball that he wished, but maybe it was a little bit of he couldn't care less because the frame was well and truly up.
Ronnie's turn to break off, and the white seems to be getting over behind the brown most of the time. Oh, that's too thin.
Just signs now that Ronnie's really beginning to cue well. All these pots seem to be fine in the middle of the pocket. And he's starting to get
9.
Yeah, the winner of this match will play the winner of the match on the other table, Mark O, Jamie
16.
Jones. That'll be tomorrow night. And the Barbican in the quarterfinals this evening.
a little look from Ronnie there.
24.
I think he's okay on this red, but he needs a good angle on the black.
25.
Now he's going to smash into these. This will be the fourth red and fourth black. Now, how's he finished up on one? Has he got one? Don't think he can play for the black off this red. Or can he? No, couldn't do it this visit now.
Yeah, there's one player that was glad Ronnie didn't get on that red to go on the black, and that's Mark Allen, who made his first competitive maximum break here this year. There's a prize of £5,000 for the maximum and £5,000 for the high break, so there's £10,000 there. If the player does it, it'll be shared.
$46. $47.
Once again, lovely control of the cue ball. There's one loose red at the bottom of the cluster. And really biting into the cue ball now. Maybe at the start of the
54.
match he was just thinking he was going to get the reaction normally, but he's now perfect most of the time.
Yeah, he's frame.
Yes, and I know you and I commentated when he made his maximum in 5 minutes 20 seconds. I still can't believe that. That is incredible, isn't it?
I'll never forget it as long as I live. 5 minutes and 20 seconds. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Peter O. Sullivan in the commentary box with us, couldn't we? Thankfully, he didn't have to have
Thank you.
the
69.
pink respotted any time. Mark Williams needs a snooker. It's just a case of how many here. The frame's well and truly in the bag.
And if this next shot
77.
works out, the century could be in the bag also. That's opened the reds up.
78.
Is he on the pink? That'll be a bonus. Not quite. It was quite tight, but he'd be a bit disappointed he didn't make a century break. But he...
Mark Williams gets the 8th frame underway. Yeah, as you've been saying all the match, Dennis, on those long distance shots, if you decelerate, then by the time the cue ball gets to the object ball, it's gone nowhere near where you've aimed it. And that was a classic example of that. A long pot success for, well, the Welsh potting machine, Mark Williams. He didn't get that nickname at 25% long pot success. Disappointing. But he's not been punished.
Yeah, the pink might have to go up onto the green spot. That's the only available spot. Olivia Martel just checking to see if there's enough room, and there's just enough.
7. Thank you.
Play. Or is he just playing for the one at the back? Stuck in the reds there, but he might be able to. Just cannon the other red. Ronnie's having a look. Oh, he hasn't hit it hard. It was awkward.
Yeah, it was one of those that, because you were striking down it, you take the pace out of it, and as soon as he hit it, he knew it wasn't hard enough. But once again there, I noticed that when he come round after 2 cushions and went into the cluster, it was like hitting a brick wall. The reds hardly moved. And just have a look again at when he tried to open the reds off 2 cushions. Looks to be going in.
8.
Hit that red and hardly anything moved. And you could hear the clunk as they
9.
made contact. The mid-session interval, or the last 2 frames. He's cueing well, and he'll be looking at this as a frame and match-winning opportunity.
Yeah, a lot of viewers at home wouldn't realise. I think a snooker table is a snooker table. You'd have to be a player and, you know, a top-class player just to realise the difference that, you know, a cloth being just a little bit on the damp side can
70.
make.
$24.
Yeah, and there's another example. Just making certain he got the reaction. He's overhit it slightly.
Thank you. 25.
Well, there is a red at the balk end. Blue. He'll have to come down the left-hand side of the table as we look, you would have thought, if he's going to come back to this end, because the pink will be blocking the path down the right-hand side of the table.
Yeah, he's having to work hard with the rest, the extension on his cue. As long as you keep potting them, that's the main thing. Ronnie doesn't carry that he can screw into his cue. I've noticed that most players do.
Thank you.
He's played it nice. Yeah, he uses the ones that the association
31.
supplies that goes under the table. We saw a player the other night. He had 4 different Luca Purcell. He had 4 different lengths of extension. Concentrating so much on the pot.
Well, that's the first one he's missed off this pot. He's potted 29 out of 30. So how costly will that be?
Nine. $17.
He's going to need these 2 reds along the top cushion. Does he think he can go into them now? He has done. He's tried it, but it's not worked out right. But he had to take the risk.
24.
I'm amazed, catching the middle as he did there, that he didn't develop one of them. Which side of the pocket is going to hit, and it can always come back to the cue ball. Okay, I wouldn't say this red is a gimme to the right.
One.
As I say, that's the problem. The red came back towards the cue ball. Good pot, though, nevertheless. And Ronnie just nudging the red into play. The only problem with that, it's now stopped the black from going in the left corner, I feel. He's now got a 2-point lead. If he takes these remaining reds, he's home and hosed.
9.
Beautifully played. The chances there now. Yeah, I, like you, John, couldn't understand how Mark Williams just left them in a safe
16.
position. But there's nothing much safe now.
Range perfect on the blue. If he was straight on the pink, he may play the pink. Well, I've decided on the pink. Obviously, Ake's just knocking in. Must be straight, yes. Unmissable. So I'm just looking at the scoreboard now. There's no
26.
way that he can just roll that red along the baulk cushion. He's going to need a colour with it. So looking for a good angle on yellow or brown, you would have thought. The closer he gets to this, what will be the last red near the baulk cushion, the easier it will be. He's now looking to see if he could get on off the blue. You always favour playing for a baulk colour though, because you're closer to the red.
$24.
As long as he doesn't finish absolute.
Yes, any colour after this red. Missed it.
Ronnie O, Sullivan, 29.
But he probably always felt as though he would get the cover with the green. Has he got enough cover? Can Mark swerve round it and pot it off the cushion?
That might just be Mark Williams' last shot in this year's Betway UK Championship.
This red and the brown to leave Mark needing a snooker. We'll put Ronnie 29 points in front with 27 remaining. If he plays the yellow, he'll need the yellow again. But he thought it was simple enough. So the yellow to put him 28 points in front with 25 remaining.
It hasn't been vintage snooker from either player. In fact, both players' highest break has been 78. But it's all about
8.
a win and getting yourself into the semi-final, and he's honing in on Steve Davis's 6 UK titles. Ronnie's had 5. But he's
Mentioned earlier, Dennis, the conditions weren't probably, but he certainly started to cue after the interval. And in goes the black and the cue ball as it happens, but it does.
Close final a few years ago to Sean Murphy. Great win for him. Beat Dave Gilbert in the last round, and now